And it just plays the wonderful. I remember my kids, you've been since the school. We have run, I've never been
You can see if you I'll get it.
Mom is fantastic. Honey, it was time. But Mom is
Hey, Mike, can I read this? I'm afraid I'm going to stand up and fall into it.
Anything else?
Terry Johnson's right here. Okay, so we've got everything. All right, that means I will look at it.
Anybody wearing a hat, please remove your hat. Let's stand and have a moment of silence and the pledge. I'm sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you all here this morning. Is anyone recording? No? Okay. All right. Let's do review our minutes. May I have the approval of the minutes. Have you all reviewed the minutes? For December the 6th.
The amended minutes of the 6th?
Yes.
Yes. I see one correction, and thank you for making all the other ones. But on the second page, hiring a property management company, it says motion by Webster, seconded by Metcalf, to accept the advisory committee's report. Ms. Webster made the motion to accept. I seconded it for discussion. I just want that noted, please.
Any other corrections or concerns on the December 6th minutes? Okay, may I have a motion to accept with the correction?
Leo.
I'll second with the corrections.
Okay. And we have the January 4th workshop minutes. Any concerns or corrections to that? If not, may I have a motion to accept?
I move we accept.
Okay, may I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Motion carried. We have the correspondence, Gail.
To whom it may concern, my name is Joseph Swartz. My wife Linda and I recently moved into the community from Ohio. We live at 8441 Fleetway Avenue. Linda and I have been Christians for many years, and I'm hoping to lead a Bible discussion group here at Brookridge with the approval of the board. If approved, I'd like to host this group at the community center weekly between 6 to 7 p.m. as there is an opening to do so. I'm flexible on weekdays. The purpose of the group is to give believers in Christ an opportunity to contribute as we go through the New Testament, starting in the letter to the Romans and discovering the truth of Christianity. My hope is to begin at the first of the new year. This letter represents my formal request to you for approval. Thank you for your consideration. Joseph Swartz, 8441 Fleetway Avenue.
Are you making a motion, Gail?
Yes, I was just checking something. I make a motion to approve a Bible discussion group on Thursday evenings from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the clubhouse for Brookridge residents, their household members, and possibly outside guests.
May I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that one.
Any discussion?
I want to discuss it a little bit.
Okay.
I would like to discuss it just a little bit. I would ask Mr. Schwartz, have you looked into the other groups that are already here? And maybe share what you do with the group rather than creating another group. I have no problem with approving it. I'm just wondering if he's looked into those aspects before he does it.
Well,
Petrona,
I might be able to answer the question. Is that okay?
come forward, Petrona, please.
I asked him the same question, Leo, and that's why I might be able to give you a little insight. He wants it to be like a round table discussion. He doesn't want to be the sole leader. And he said, like most prayer meetings or church services, it's a sole, one sole person kind of leading the group. And he wants it to be a total roundtable discussion that everyone can put into. That will be the difference in what we have now.
And it is different, yeah.
Fine, that's what I was looking for.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All in favor of this new group coming on board?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, motion carried. My president's letter is rather short, I hope sweet. As you all know now, Greg Schubert, captain of our security code enforcement, he has resigned. And John Lukovic, who was the lieutenant, has retired. And as I mentioned to you at the last meeting, the 2022 audit is in the office. Your ballots, the first ballots that went out, there was a typo error. We had to call them all back and issue new ballots. It happens, we don't like it, but it does happen, and we deal with it, and I want to be sure that you all review your ballots, sign them, and turn them in at the office. I'm still working on the two-book problem, and I want you all to remember, this issue didn't happen overnight, so it's not going to resolve itself overnight either. And that's my president's report for today.
I do have a question. Could you tell me the cost of the new ballots in the mailing? What's the final cost?
I don't believe we received an invoice.
Microphone.
Oh, these are mine.
Hello? I do not believe that we received the final invoice yet.
Okay, thanks.
How much were the last ones?
37 something.
Off the top of my head, I believe it was, you're correct, Ms. Metcalf, around 3,700.
So it's
For the
gonna be
first
that
set.
again, right?
Excuse me?
It will be that again.
I believe so, yes.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's a pretty big mistake.
Carol is tied up at the office. She should be along, so we're going to hold her report until she comes in. We don't have any unfinished business, and we do have new business, and we have a committee that would like to establish a traffic safety committee. Tracy McUmber, she would like to chair that, and so I'm going to ask, let me get to my part. I'm going to read this. There is concern in the community regarding traffic, speeding, and other safety issues. The Traffic Safety Committee would advise the board on how to deal with these issues effectively. I want to mention that we have, Billy and our team have been working on fixing all these signs that are here in the development that are not necessary or that are not correct. New signs either have gone or are going out down at the front as you come in to tell everybody. The boulevard is 30 miles an hour. Side roads are 25 unless otherwise designated. Where speed is strictly enforced, so we all need to adhere to that. So we've got those signs up. We've got correcting a lot of the stop signs that are redundant and have been put there for some people's pleasure. So I'm going to finish. I want to tell you what we're doing out there and what Tracy and her group would like to continue to work on the traffic safety. So I'm going to make a motion to establish a traffic safety committee for Brookridge consisting of 5 members. So
I'll second that motion.
thank you.
Hold on,
Is there any?
gotta wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Gotta wait. board first.
I'd like a point of order or whatever.
No, the point of order is
Okay.
to go with the minute, with the agenda. I just have one question, and then Tracy can come up. This, when he talked, oh,
Do I have any discussion after the motion was made?
oh, I thought you already said that, that's why he raised his hand.
No, I didn't. I have a motion to accept this new committee and a second. Now, is there any discussion?
There you go. When you talked about the signs, this is, I'm going to safely assume, the recommendations from the advisory committee that we had last year. The recommendations, we're going to follow through with that? The recommendations?
They're going to be working with that, and we have a lot of information.
On your mic, please.
Yeah.
The new traffic safety will be working with the information that was gleaned and that Steve Pisano and his advisory board worked on. I have a lot of data that I will be giving to the new team. And I think they're just going to advise, they're not making changes, they're just going to see what they can do to make it better. The same as we have the advisory board keeping us up to date on what's going on out in the front where they're going to be redoing, and we're going to have a development out there with the traffic study and everything. So they are the workers that do the research that we as a board don't always have time to do. So that's what our board is, our committees. Yes, Gail, that will all be given to them, yes. Are there any other questions?
Yes, Kenneth Wall's Unit 4.
Mike.
Check. Kenneth Walls, Unit 4. I'd like to correct you on one thing to start with. Brookridge Boulevard is not 30 miles an hour from one end to the other. If you make a left on Brookridge Central, it is 25 miles an hour. And if you make a right, it is 30 miles an hour. And it's always been that way.
Okay, I thank you, Ken.
Okay, and one more thing. Why this late in your administration are you wanting to get a new committee together? I mean, you know,
They asked
it's,
me.
yeah, I know, but like I say, why this late?
Because they came to me this late. I'm sorry, Ken, they just came to
Okay,
me.
you got this advisory committee together. It was not put out to the people. It was not put out to the people where all residents had a chance to apply.
It's a board.
Is it a secret service?
No, it is not. It is not. It's a board of 5 to 7 people.
And now don't mean to cut you off, I know
Okay.
I've got limited time here. But number one, advisory committee. They've taken down the small square sign below your warning sign of curves on Brookridge Boulevard that dictated 20 miles an hour. This is a suggested speed to negotiate
Suggested,
that curve.
correct. It's a suggested speed.
These signs are missing.
Okay, I will talk to Billy.
You
I will
know.
talk to Billy about it. He has been in charge of that.
I won't get tacky,
That's okay.
but yes, we've noticed some of the miles per hour signs taken down, and thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
That's all I got right now.
Okay, Ken, thank you so much. Yes,
One, I have to agree with the gentleman there. I looked everywhere I could, and I didn't see published anywhere who the people are, who are on this advisory committee. How it was, where it was established, what it was, you know, the phone numbers, anybody have input in? Because I wanted to know about the development up front, and they seem to be carrying the ball on that. And I asked people, I found out who one of them was when we had the meeting the other day, the gentleman who ran sort of for the development company. I heard, he said he was on it, so I said, okay, I got one person identified, but I was told there's 5 to 7 people. There's nothing, I looked in the book and there's nothing.
I certainly can have an email put out and give you the names of the people that are on there.
But there should, if they're a committee that you depend on.
This committee was set up before I took office, and it just continued on. I'm not making any excuses, but they do a lot of work here.
Well, I know, but the thing is that if you tell me they do a lot of work, and I said, if I want the board to know something, or I'm interested in bringing something to attention to the board, maybe I'd bring it to one of these people and say, could you guys maybe look at this? This may be something you've discussed before, you know, whatever. Because you know, I've just been here. But that's one of the things I would urge the board to publish the list of any committee that exists and the people who are on the committee, so people would know, instead of just saying, the PAC told me this, or whatever, you know, we have
Okay, that's not a problem. We'll be happy to do that for
the
you.
thing is there a blind person that lives on Country Club? Because I've asked people about that blind person.
Tracy, do you know?
There used to be, my neighbor was blind and she had dementia and she passed, so we're gonna address those things, sir, at our traffic safety meeting, so there's a lot of things.
It's just that people wanted to know, because I kept looking for somebody, and I said, even asked people who lived around there, and they said, they used to be, but I don't know if there is one now. There's a sign up there that says it. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Any other discussion, Tom?
Good morning. This agenda topic is a motion to establish a committee. The committee has not been formed yet, and we're asking for resumes. So this isn't a secret thing. It's just approval to establish a committee, and then notice will go out for resumes.
I'd like to address the question about when was the first advisory committee established. I can't hear you.
Was it up?
We're good now?
Okay.
I would like to address
Name
the
and unit
comment
number.
about the
Name and unit number.
Thomas Fryman Unit 2, about the establishment of the first advisory committee was established under the previous president. So you need to look back in the records that far to find out the information that you need to know. And Tracy, I would like to volunteer.
Thank you. Is there any more discussion regarding establishing a traffic safety? And here comes Tracy. Come on up.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Yes, Tracy McCumber, Unit 2. Thank you for approving our new committee. Our mission, I wrote some notes. Our role is going to be evaluate our traffic needs in the community, obviously. We're going to review what the advisory board has done in the past, and we'll take that under advisement. Our mission will be to make our community safer than it is now. Our approach will be community think tanks. We're going to have town hall meetings where the whole community can talk and we can discuss what everyone thinks and what, it's a group effort, and I just think that the community needs to be involved. We all live here, we all drive here, so why not be all involved? We're also going to address the much anticipated influx of traffic as our community grows. So it's going to be a big deal because our community will grow and grow and grow, and we just need to address that as well. And I just want to thank you very much, and if anybody has any questions, and I'd like to address the question about this committee. I approached Anna about doing this. I live on Country Club, right at the top of the hill when you come down to the clubhouse. And the traffic, it's crazy there. I can't even get out of my driveway half the time. So it's been a passion of mine since I moved here. I came to one of the first meetings when I first moved here 7 years ago, and my neighbor, the sign, she was blind. She would walk across the road with her son, her grandson, and these cars would be zooming. I said, I can't do this. I've got to go to a meeting, and we've got to do something about this speeding. I thought she'd get killed. So I went to the meeting, and I said, I just wanted you guys to put it on the record that I think we need to do something about the speeding, that we need to address it. And that was 7 years ago, 6 years ago. And so it's been a passion of mine since then. And I approached Anna and asked her if we could do something about this. So that's why we started the committee.
Tracy, I was on the board when that lady was there, and we got we also put the thing down, the speed limit down to 20, whereas 25, so people were going 30. People could not get out of their driveways. They couldn't get out of Cedar Cove or the top of Dinsmore.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's gotten a little bit better, but I think this committee, we can take the time and we can really do, we're going to research this. We're not going to be a committee that's going to go and spend money. It's going to be our own time, obviously. And we just want to try to do the best we can. We want to include the community so we have as much information to make it safer. And thank you again.
Tracy, I'm sorry. I have one more question. Are you sending out are we sending out resumes for this?
They can come to the office and get a resume.
Okay, you can come to the office and get a resume.
Thank you.
Fill out a resume.
Fill out a resume. Get a resume form.
Yes. Thank you, Tracy. And I want to say that these committees work really, really hard, and they work on their own time. And it's a good thing. They're very dedicated, and we should be very happy to have them. Can I have a show of hands if you're all in agreement to go forward with the Traffic Safety Committee? Thank you. Motion carried. Okay. Okay, my next one is the AVRC is down to 4 members now. So they needed more members. We had 4 people put their resumes in who would like to be on the AVRC committee. And so today I will tell you who they are. Paul Campbell, Paul, Thomas Raymond, Terry Johnson, and Bob O'Brien. Okay? So when I met with the AVRC and I took these apps, all the resumes in, they said we want them all. So therefore, I'm going to make a motion that we approve all 4 applicants and for the AVRC. So I have a motion to appoint Paul Campbell, Thomas Raymond, Terry Johnson, and Robert O'Brien to the AVRC. May I have a second?
You have your second.
Ken. Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Gail?
Opposed.
Okay. We have 3, 4, 1.
Nope.
So, Ken has one, a member for the ACC, so when he brings that member forward, he is going to swear all of you in at one time to make it more convenient. So I'm going to turn this over to Ken Duncan.
Good morning. The ACC has a current slot available. We had one applicant. His name is Ken Wells. The ACC has asked and requested of this board and this membership to accept Ken Wall's appointment to the ACC, and I am making said motion to accept Ken Walls to the ACC committee.
I will second that.
Do we have any discussion from the board? All in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Ken, welcome to the ACC. Can I get all the applicants up here so that I may swear at you and swear to you? All right, will you all raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly promise and swear that you will administer the office to which you have appointed to the best of your ability, judgment, conformity, and the governing documents of Brookridge Incorporated, that you will, with your acts, be governed by the principles of honesty, justice, fair play, in every manner possible endeavor to promote the safeguard, interests of the citizens, Brookridge, and welfare on its members? Do you so swear?
Yeah.
By the authority virtue proclaimed upon me, I, Ken Duncan, for Vice President, do hereby declare you appointed to your appropriate committees. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome your new committee members.
We will now have the report of the directors. No? Oh, you have more. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ken. Go ahead.
All right. Of all people, I normally remember to turn mine on. The ACC has made a request of this board. The ACC is requesting the ACC application that everybody fills out to modify or make changes to their property. And the revision sheets, all right, be permanently attached to the ACC guidelines. This will make it so, and I have spoke to the office and the administrative staff, make it so that everybody can see the ACC application. They can also see the revisions thereof, and it will become a permanent portion attached to their guidelines. There are currently only two people that can make changes to the ACC guidelines. One is the board, and the board has to go to the ACC and request them to evaluate it. And the other one is the ACC coming back to the board. With this, we're asking that those two documents, the ACC application and the revision sheet, be permanently attached to the ACC guidelines.
May I have a second? You're making the motion. May I have a second to that?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Rosemary. Any discussion?
Yes, so we don't have any revisions. All you want to do is make sure it's permanently attached. Okay, it says, I thought that you had made a correction on one of these.
We had made corrections on multiple sheets. The reason the ACC has gone through this is, my understanding is approximately 5 years ago, a select group of people got together, rewrote the document. The document was not in compliance with the way the book was written. The ACC has spent the last 6 months going word by word and making sure that the two documents are identical. Now that we've completed that process, we want to permanently attach that document to the ACC guidelines.
Thank you for the clarification.
Is there any other discussion? If not, may I have, George? Do you have a question?
George Clare, Unit 4. Were all the revisions here, Ken, were they sent to the attorney for approval, prior approval?
This was matched the word for word from the ACC guidelines. It was the making, how do I want to put this? Making the book match the application. Or, yeah, okay, Paul, thank you.
So other words, all we've done is you've made the corrections, the board has made the corrections, and nobody has to have prior approval from the attorney, that's all. So yes and no.
It's an in-house document. It's maintained by the board and the ACC. It's still the rules, but the two documents did not match. So we corrected it and we're asking it to be permanently attached.
So any rules that are made between the ACC, the Rules and Regulations Committee, everything is in-house. Because this affects everybody. You can't, I mean...
This was a cleanup of the document. It's not a change, it was a cleanup of the document. We had to make the two documents match each other. Otherwise, there was conflict, and that's what they have done.
Okay.
I think what George is referring to is that the rules and regulations, the revisions that they had made, we gave him to, it might be off point, but he's asking a question. He's asking if the rules and regulations of the ACC committee has been treated and should be done the same as the rules and regulations of the rest of the documents. I believe that's what his question is.
I can come up and clarify that if you want me to.
Any further discussion? If not, can we have a show of hands to accept the addition to the ACC book? Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Carol, did you have any report today? Okay.
You did yours?
Yes.
That pretty much said everything I was going to.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, we'll now have the report of the directors. Leo, let's start with you.
Two observations. Is there anything in the works to fix the entryway over here? The main entryway into the clubhouse. Half of it is blocked off. The sidewalk. Is there anything in the works to fix it? It's been blocked off for a while now.
Yes, we've been working with Billy to determine a way to get at the sidewalk and to take it apart and look at it, because it's all washed out underneath. But the problem is the benches that are there block our access. So we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with those benches, which appear to need to be replaced. So it's a bunch of things that need to be addressed all at once. So we're trying to coordinate with Billy, because he has the equipment to do the work, and we've got to tear it apart to take a look and see exactly how much work needs to be done and what is the best solution. Is it to reset the pavers? Is it to roll in a concrete walkway? Again, all the compression joints have rotted out. All the wood out there is just basically all rotted out.
So you're working on it?
Yes, we're working on it.
Okay, thank you. The other point I would like to make, when comments are made at the end of a session, I strongly urge people to mail in their comment in writing. Submit it to the board. It would be addressed like any correspondence. The secretary would present it and you would see it. What that does is it prevents a, forgive my Catholic upbringing, but it prevents a litany of questions that prolongs the meeting. And most of what is presented has been presented time and time again. We need to change what we do as a board and the membership attending the board. If we present our case correctly in writing to the board, we should, as a board, address it. We don't necessarily have to respond back other than saying, we don't approve of this, and we're moving on. And in the next month, you don't present it again because we said no the month before. So the membership needs to change, and the board needs to advise, and that should correct our problems every month.
Thank you, Leo. Ken?
I have nothing, ma'am.
Gail?
Yes. I always have something over here.
Okay, first, thank you. Beautification Committee, members of the committee have gone through all of the plants, especially in the front and in front of the administration office, to assess. When we had that deep frost, it killed a couple of our plants, probably about 20 of them. So we're going to be working to replace those so that it all comes back. And the beautification committee is having a card party? Yes, in March, in which it usually gives us a good return. So I'm hoping that people will, as we talk about it more, that you'll support it. The other thing is the unit reps, they're working hard, but we have 2 openings now. I think we have 2 openings. Yeah, we have 2 openings, so we'll be accepting resumes for that. The forms, you can get at the front office. Okay, is that better? Yeah, that is better. So that's, I have a couple of other things. I know Leo addressed the unfinished business. He addressed questions. And usually unfinished business should be the answers to the questions from the previous meeting. All questions used to be taken down and were addressed within a couple of days, and we would discuss them as unfinished business. So I'm hoping that the board will think about changing your unfinished business from nothing to answering questions from the previous meetings. And I think that that will help a lot with the member comments at the end of the evening. Another thing that I've noticed is that we are down a full-time employee for 3 years since Betty Hind retired. She did all the new resident meetings. She handled the RV compound. She kept new homeowners and residents' records up to date, assisted at the front desk and so on. And I'm strongly advising that we look at at least a part-time, if not a full-time employee, and then the other employees can do what they've been hired for. We were told that the advisory committee would be updating us regarding the new plaza that may affect Brookridge Boulevard. And it was the 9th of this month, or January, and I haven't seen a report yet, so I'd really like to know what is happening with that. Let me see. Also, I have requested at least 3 times the names of the members of the advisory board, not the new traffic study board, but the advisory committee board. And I was told that that is a private board for the office. And I just think that we've never had a private board, that people don't know who the people are on the board. I know that Tracy is very open and Steve Pisano, but I don't know who the others are. Thank you.
Can I answer two of your questions?
Yes.
One is you talk about full-time, we're down a full-time employee. We have been looking to get a part-time employee coming in, and that is in the works. Carol's been working on that. Part of the problem here is we don't pay enough to get people to come here to work full-time. And that's one of our issues. We have, and I don't know if Carol wants to answer this. You.
Hi. Yes, I am looking into hiring a part-time person.
Oh, good. Where's that? Okay,
The thing is that what I'm doing is I went to the Central High School to look for someone after school. That's where I started. I talked with Commander Cruz over there at the school and the guidance counselors. And then if that doesn't work, then I'll take another avenue, but that's where I'd like to start. Because you can get a high school student cheaper than you can get a adult.
Okay, Carol, thank you. It's just that the board is not aware of that.
Your other question about your advisory board names, I think I mentioned that earlier, that I will be putting that out to everybody. So as Leo said, that might have been a redundant question. Rosemary, do you have anything to say?
Yes, I do. To remind our residents that this coming Saturday is the We Love Our Veterans Tea, sponsored by the ladies of Brookridge. It's from 2:30 to 4:30. And we're going to have a Chinese auction, share the wealth. We have an entertainer coming in, and the Central High School RFTC will be our escorts and service for that day. As of yesterday morning, we had 100 reservations. Today is the last day that you can make a reservation, a resident and your guest, if you have a guest. So contact Patrona or Sandy Goose, and if you want to come. Like I said, it's 2:30, 4:30 this coming Saturday. We hope to see you all there. We have one special thing coming in with our speakers, with our regular speakers. We have the K-9 Partners for Veterans, and we have been informed that a gentleman who has just returned from the honor flight in Washington, D.C., will come and speak to us about the purpose of that honor flight. So we're looking forward to him. The other thing I want to remind people of, and because I don't see anybody here from Helping Hands is having their annual fundraising pancake breakfast Sunday morning, and the cost is $6 per person. And that money goes to pay for their supplies when they stitch things for the hospice and the hospitals. So please, come. Nice pancake breakfast. It's always been delicious. So it's Sunday morning, $6 per person.
Thank you, Rosemary. Okay, do we have any member comments or concerns? Okay. Mary?
Area Store Unit 6. Carol, did you ever consider putting it out to residents who might want a part-time position at the office? I'm sure we have capable people working here, and the guardhouse gets minimum wage. There might be somebody interested here that could use the money and possibly be able to fill the position.
I'll take it under consideration.
Thank you. Anna, correct me, did you say the audit is complete and available for us? Okay, so I put a request in on the 27th of January. Can I stop down today and get my copy of the audit?
Later in the
afternoon, I have to make copies.
Okay. I'd like some clarification about the terms to be served for the election. I'm still trying to understand why only 2 people are getting 3 years. There are 4 openings, 3 of which are being filled by directors who their terms have expired. We have, who's coming? Hold on one second. The only one that's term has not expired that is coming off, Gail is coming off, Rosemary's coming off. Lyle, when he was put on after last year's election, was given a 1-year term. He expires this March. The only one that's not expiring is Jerry Foster, who goes on there because he has 1 year to complete yet. Our bylaws strictly state that once a term has been expired, the new director gets 3 years. So why are only 2 of our directors getting 3 years and the other 2 just getting a simple year?
As I explained before, this got mixed up, the orders got mixed up in 2020. We're trying to straighten it out. Every time somebody resigns or quits, it messes up the order. I've already explained, I've been through this with the attorney, and yes, Mary, I'm going to take it under advisement from my attorney, how the terms are going to be ran.
But there was no mix-up. You had 2 people. You had Larry Hoos that came off after 1 year in '22, and Val Stratton who came after 1 year. The only opening that was left in '22 was when Larry Hoos resigned in February. Okay, and I think it's very unfair to the current candidates coming in that they're not receiving the same courtesy that our candidates received last year, and all given 3 years. And I really think it's very unfair that we don't have the opportunity to see what the attorney says to us, considering the residents foot that bill. Thank you.
Mary, if, I'll clarify, okay? The reason why we do this is that, and I had spoken with the attorney when I was on the board, through the president, that says you have to have, it'll always be 3-2-2, and then it'll be 3-3-2, or 3-3-1. We have 2 or 3, we have 3 with 2-year terms right now, okay? There'll be 2 years, there'll be 1 year, they've already done it, so they get 2, they've got 2 years left.
Gail that are getting 3 years.
Okay, wait a minute. We have 3 board members right now, that will be down to 2 board members. So we will have 3 members that have 2 years, okay? So we're gonna have, so we will have 2, yeah, we're supposed to have 3, 2, 2. Okay, we'll have 2 with 1 year. Yeah, and 3 with 2 years, and 2 with 3 years. It should never be 3-3-1, because you have to have consistency on the boards. It got messed up. This is the reason why. It got messed up 4 years ago or 5 years ago, when the president, 4 years ago, when the president insisted on mixing his own instead of listening to the attorney. In the past, before 4 years ago, there was always 3 people that have 3 years, 2 people with 2 years, 2 people with 1 year. And then when it rotated, it would be, that's how they would have 3, and then 1, and then 2. So you always never had more than 3 people on the same term at the same time, except the 3 years. I know it's difficult, but I can go over that with you privately to show you how that's done.
It just doesn't, last year the attorney stood up and said, and our bylaws say, when they expire their term, they get 3 years. That's what they gave them last year. So we're doing expiring terms now. Why aren't they getting the 3 years is my only question.
When somebody leaves the board, there's a 1 year term until, if that's what their term would have been.
And that's what Lyle filled in, the 1 year term. Okay, and that's expiring, so it should go from there with replacing him with the 3 year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Anyone else today? Linda?
Linda Walls, Unit 4. So the audit is open for the residents to pick up? Okay. And in regards to the ballots that were mailed out, the ones with the mistakes on it, who was responsible for that? Okay. Well, somebody needs to do some proofreading before they send things out.
That was proved 3 times. I do not know what happened. I do not have a reason or an explanation other than maybe I didn't save it before I printed it. I don't know. But everything was proved 3 times before it went out.
Okay. And I noticed in the new ones that Debbie Coble, on her resume, she's got Debbie Coble Higgins, and that's still just Debbie Coble.
We went by the property appraiser. It's only Debbie Coble.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
My name is Bob O'Brien. I'm from Unit 1. We had...
Hold the mic up.
Hold on. Hello? Okay. I'm Unit 1. We had requests go out for people who wanted to be on the board, and 4 people put their names forward for 3 positions. Those people were certified for that, and then after that happened, one of our board members resigned. Now, according to the bylaws that I read, we can appoint, the board can appoint somebody for the rest of his term until the next general election, which could be interpreted to be this next general election, but that position has to be advertised as open to give people an opportunity to run for that position, because that position is way different from the positions that were open in beginning in September. New items came up, people's minds could change whether they wanted to run or not, but instead, I've heard that no matter what happens, the 4 people who put their names in as an economy measure, we're gonna not follow the rules, but as an economy measure, we're gonna just put the 4 people in and based on the regular rules. And I don't think that, I think you lend yourself up to the same sort of problem you had with this, how many people we have running for 3 years, 2 years, and 1 year. I don't see how that ever happened, because it's just like, you know, the Congress of the United States, senators, 1/3 of the senators are elected every other term, so you have 1/3 of the senators up at every time. Same thing with the board, so you have continuity in the Senate, continuity on the board. But when you take people and you say that you're going to have these nominations according to the rules, you have to look at the rules, and the rules say that you can't give that position away. That position has to be reapplied. It's like if the president resigned, all right, you're going to put a new president in, and you're not going to just appoint somebody right away, you know. And that's the problem, is that in the rules, people said, we did this for an economy reason or to save money, we did this. But the rules clearly state that after a person resigns, the next general election, he should stand for it. Yes, I said that, and I said, brought this to the president, I said, you could advertise that position as soon as he did, had a short time for people to apply for that position, and still put it on this ballot for that position alone. And people would be running for that position alone, and the other 4 people could be running for the 3 positions. But that's what the rules say. And I just like to bring that to people's attention, that you know, that one director who resigned 3 months later, the issues changed. We had arguments over the budget, we had arguments over the management company. So there's a different perspective than when the first people were trying. I think people should get a fresh look, and maybe more people. One thing you could have is maybe more people become involved in here rather than shutting off to the people that already volunteered.
Thank you, Bob. Is there anyone else? Mary?
Mary Story, Unit 6. I'm hoping either you, Anna, or Carol can answer this question. So, running a profit and loss statement for the month of May, run in June, the net income balance was that we were $23,000 in the red. Same report, run 6 months later in December of this year, suddenly shows we're $15,000 in the black. How can two identical reports show such vastly different numbers?
I don't know that off the top of my head, sorry.
We don't have it in that.
Okay.
Right here.
I gave you the stuff there. Can you at least say to me you're going to look at it and report back to us, all the residents at the next meeting, to explain why there is such a difference? I'm not asking for an answer. The simple reply would be, we'll get back to you, but I would like it to be getting back to us when all the residents are present at a meeting. Okay?
Thank you, Mary. Is there anyone else? Okay, if there isn't any other discussion or anything, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Of course,